Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at Mad World Tarot. It is the most perfect autumn afternoon as I am doing this, unfortunately not so perfect in terms of relationship between Harry and his father as a result of that very ill-advised BBC interview. I think what Prince William might describe as a category 5 tantrum that was released shortly after the appeal was dismissed yesterday. Harry spewing all kinds of bile, and we hear from various newspaper sources in the UK. The Sun, first of all, I'm going to reference. They were saying that the King was optimistic that once the court case had been finalised, the decision was out, he and Harry could attempt some kind of rebuilding of their relationship. Of course, for the past 3 years, the King has been unable to speak to Harry because of this ongoing court case and the fear that Harry might quote or even misquote the King in court and cause some kind of constitutional crisis, something Harry hasn't quite seemed to grasp, but it has been something very tricky for the King to navigate. But of course, the minute the BBC interview came out, that was the end of that hope. The bridge very finally blown up. This is the take of Rebecca English, who writes for the Daily Mail, and she does seem to have quite a good inside track with the British royal family. And she said that even if Harry, having said that he will never bring his family over to the UK now, even if he were to attempt to bring them over under the royal umbrella, go and stay at one of the royal residences, head over to the UK for a visit with his kids, with his wife, the royal family are past even that, she says. She's talking about how they could ever possibly meet, have a chat now. And she says, too much has been said and done now for them to ever forgive and forget. I've got the after tarot on the tarot table for this one. And as I say, very ill-advised interview in my opinion, and very angry Harry, and he said all kinds of really quite astonishing things, including saying he didn't know how long his father had left to live, which really at a personal level, very hurtful, very stupid, and at a national level, in terms of country security and all of that, faith in the monarchy, very damaging. And that's the headlines in the British papers, well, certainly the Daily Mail, as I'm doing this reading now. So we're going to just do a relationship spread. We're going to have a look at Harry and his father, and has Harry finally ruined any chance of a kind of forgiveness? I saw that there might be an outreach, an attempted outreach, and he did say in this interview that he had forgiven and he would love to reconcile with his family. But then he threw all kinds of threats at them, which we're going to look at in the next reading. So it was full of contradictions. It was nonsensical at some level. It really was just almost crazy. And we will look at that in the next reading, that he just shooting poison arrows at them while claiming that he loved them and wanted to reconcile. So it was very stupid, very hurtful, very upsetting. That's the Judgment card. Well, that's a second chance, but also forgiveness. Are we going to see some of that relationship spread coming up? And Harry and his father, the past 3 years will be our past energy. One more shuffle. And then we'll look at where things stand now and whether there is any chance of reconciliation now. I didn't think that he would come out so quickly and so aggressively, and seemingly not to grasp at all what the court case, the outcome of the case really was. And what does one do with a person like that who just really sees everything in terms of their own woundedness and their anger and whatever else, and cannot see reason, cannot see other people's points of view, cannot understand what judges are telling him, repeatedly telling him. It's really quite disturbing. It is tarot, of course, and it is for fun and entertainment, and of course it is all just my opinion and all speculation, and we just read energy here, and there is a disclaimer in the box below. Relationship spread, Harry and his father. We're putting Harry first in this spread. Our underlying energy is the Four of Cups in reverse. The Four of Cups is rejection and indifference and apathy and boredom and all of those things when it's upright. There is a bit of a do-over energy when it's in reverse. That's how I read it. It can be read differently, but I stick with that kind of a reading. That's the deal that I have with up there, so that we both know what we're talking about. And so for me, that Four of Cups in reverse gives a hint of Harry wanting to not make peace, because he believes that they owe him an apology and he's the one who's forgiven them. They're the ones at fault, not him. But it's that I've had my little strop, I've had my tantrum, I've poured that cup out, I've rejected all your love and all your affection and all your attempts to fix things, but now I'm not very happy with the way things have gone, because I've lost the court case and I'm all saddened by myself. He looked a real mess in that interview, in that weird room, wherever it was, with the strange decor, very weird room, not to mention the carpet, oh my word. But wants to fix things but doesn't know how. It's got a very brattish kind of teenage tantrum energy, this card, for me in this particular context. So that's how it's resonating for me. Let's go back to the past. We're going to look at the chunk of time, that the past 3 years, where the king has felt that he can't be alone with Harry, he can't say anything to Harry, can't have a phone call with him or a video conference with him or anything like that, because of what might leak out in court or wherever else. Harry's energy first, we got the Nine of Cups in reverse, and the King's energy in these past times. We've got the King trying to juggle things, trying to keep balls in the air, trying to balance the situation. I'll talk about that card first, actually, because it is the card of walking a tightrope, that Two of Pentacles. And the King, of course, the things that he's trying to juggle are his family on the one hand, his relationship with his son on the one hand, and his duties as a constitutional monarch on the other hand. Harry doesn't seem to understand that. It's all about Harry. He seems to understand that the king rules by some kind of divine right and can just decree things, and then things are as you know, whatever. Possibly an oversight there with the royal family, not including Harry in some of those lessons. And we know that the late Queen went off to Eton to have lessons about constitutional stuff and history and whatever with someone at Eton. William had his Sunday afternoon chats with the Queen. I'm sure she passed on all that lore to him. Harry, nobody seems to have taught Harry anything about how the monarchy actually works, and so of course he couldn't teach Madame anything when she arrived on her broomstick in London. So that's the king's situation. Tricky balancing act that he had to play. And then we've got the spoilt brat energy of the Nine of Cups for Harry. Very much an indulgent energy, somebody who's a lush, drinks a lot, parties a lot, very entitled, very greedy, very selfish, very self-absorbed. That card is never for me a very pleasant card. You can see from the artwork on it how indulgent it is. That's Harry's energy, that kind of brattish energy, not getting his own way and having a strop because it's in reverse. Upright it is. All your dreams come true, all your wishes are fulfilled. You click your fingers or your heels or whatever, and magically, because you are living in a magical kingdom where Harry lives anyway, then the minions rush about and do your bidding. But it didn't quite go that way. So that's the past energy. We are now in the aftermath of this appeal decision that went against Harry, and of course his little tantrum, a huge tantrum in fact. Where is he now in relation to his father? We've got the Ten of Wands in reverse. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, it actually, my heart lurched in my chest when I saw those cards. I had, full disclaimer, I really have no sympathy and no time for Harry at this point. I think he is an absolute piece of work. I think that what he has done borders on treason. That is, in my opinion, I think he has caused his family tremendous damage at a personal level and at a constitutional level. He's done, one of the British royal reporters has said as much today, and I'm going to read on it, that he's never seen the British monarchy so low in the water, basically because of all the potshots that Harry and Meghan have taken at the royal family. But Harry is the one. So that's my personal disclaimer about my personal opinion of Harry at this point. Harry's energy in relation to his father is one of, it's over, it's done, it's finished. Because we have two tens and they're in reverse. The Ten of Wands in reverse and the Ten of Cups in reverse. So in terms of effort and all the campaigning and all the stuff that he's done, he's reached the end of the road. He's out of ideas, he's out of energy, he's out of gimmicks. He's run out of steam with the situation. He thought that by throwing all the stuff at the royal family somehow, and it's very, very, I won't even say it's adolescent, because the adolescents that I know are not this level of immature and destructive. I don't even know where this level of behavior comes from. It's so immature and it's so vicious. It's so, I can't think of the word, but it's almost feral. That's not the word, but it's kind of, there should be some kind of preventive kind of detention going on with this kind of behavior. It's that level of toxic and dangerous that the attacks aimed at the royal family to get a rise out of them, to get some sort of notice. They have grey rocked and grey rocked and grey rocked, and he has just gone all out, attacking and attacking and attacking, and all it's done is isolate him, alienate him, burden him. It's got heavier and heavier and heavier. It hasn't had the desired effect, and we know that because of the Ten of Cups sitting next to it. It's kind of, in the old days, they used to have those ASBOs in the UK. It's that kind of behavior, and my mind just can't latch onto the correct word. I'm using all the wrong vocabulary for the concept that I'm trying to grab onto, but it's just not coming to me. Sorry, I'm using the wrong terminology, and I'm very aware of it, and I'm misdescribing him, and I mean him no offense in that way, but it's that kind of behavior, and it's led to the Ten of Cups in reverse, which is broken the family relationship beyond repair. He can never go back to happy in the bosom of his family. We've gone from Nine of Cups to Ten of Cups. Now he's done it now. He's pushed it too far. But let's see where the king is in all of this. King's got the Ten of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands in reverse. The Ten of Pentacles is preserving the legacy of the monarchy. And that card for me is absolutely what that's about. It's about keeping it in good shape to pass on to the next in line, which of course will be Prince William. And that's again that Two of Pentacles, and now we've got Ten of Pentacles. He wants to keep it in good shape so that he can hand it over. He got it in good shape handed to him. He wants to pass it on to Prince William in equally good shape. So his priority, his focus is on that. And it's on the people who are within the royal family. Shona from Vintage Reads had a very interesting take on Harry and his little tantrum and what it all really means, and about being in the family and being out of the family. Worth a listen. It was just an interesting take on on Harry finally kind of realizing that what being out of that protective bubble actually means for the monarchy as an institution, not as a family. And there it is, the Ten of Pentacles. The king is very focused on who is in that bubble. Is the wrong word again. Sorry, today's the day of wrong words. But who's inside, and who gets protected, and who gets access, and who gets money, and who gets to stay in that bubble. And as a result, there is no speaks. 8 of Wands, with the one who is outside and who is trying to attack it in that kind of feral way. Again, the wrong word, and again, apologies. I just can't find the right word for some reason. Anyway, what's between them right now? That's the Charity card and the Knight of Wands. The Charity card, the Six of Pentacles, is give and take. And for me, it's the king still has this idea that he would still give Harry his due. And there comes Harry, the Knight of Wands, charging along. Hot-headed, impetuous, impulsive, erratic, angry, even though the card is upright. The king is trying to do his duty as king, first and foremost, by what does the king do now? What does the royal family mostly do now? They raise profiles of charities, they comfort people, they comfort the nation when the nation is going through trouble. That is their role. And there he is, doing his duty. Six of Pentacles, that's how that card is reading for me. And then along comes this impetuous prince on his horse, attacking, volatile, all over the place, coming, charging in and out. It's overseas energy, it's moving from country to country energy. So the king is very focused on charities, doing the stuff. He's off to Canada for the opening of the new parliament in Canada very soon, obviously keeping his eye on what's going on over there, 51st state and all of that. And then along comes Harry, this sort of disruptive energy that's wanting attention, but he's wanting positive attention. Even though we've got all of this damage and disaster that's going on in this reading, he still wants to dominate. He wants to all the energy and the focus to be on him. And so this energy is not saying it's over, but this energy is saying it's over. We're going to get more performance, I think, more attention seeking, more drama, more theatre from this Knight of Wands, while this king in the Six of Pentacles is trying to do what the king is supposed to be doing and focusing on his people and the world and crises in the world and all that stuff. No speaks there, and Harry knows that he has pushed this too far. He knows it. I bet he woke up this morning with a headache and thought, uh-oh. He went and read the headlines, not just in British newspapers. Uh-oh. And yet their communications person, that Meredith Main's woman, was advising him to do this, and possibly even in the room with him as he was doing it, let's say allegedly. So I don't know. Where are we heading? Harry and the king, ultimately. That's Harry, Queen of Wands. That's Meghan's energy, and the king is going to carry on with his work. Harry is going to stay tied to that Queen of Wands and listening to her and bowing and scraping to her and doing her bidding. She's the one who's going to decree what she wants. Now, I saw yesterday in quite a weird reading on this court case that the Queen of Wands wants to insinuate herself back into the royal family at some level. And if the Queen of Wands wants that, we're going to get more of this charging around energy. I think that's why we're seeing it, because he's doing the Queen of Wands' bidding, and that's what she wants, because everything else has completely disintegrated. It's an absolute disaster, the things that she has done. this year 2025. She wrote in the sand several times. Of course, we saw that ridiculous video, her frolicking on the beach in Santa Barbara. Queen of Wands 2025 hasn't gone the way she wants it. I think we're going to still see some quite weird stuff going on between Montecito and the royal family, trying to insert themselves back into a story which is really closed. It's done. But not for her, it's not done. The king has got his back to her, interestingly, and he's doing his work. 8 of Pentacles. The king is doing his duty. He is focused on the Pentacles, and in this context, I don't mean money. I mean status. I mean priorities. 2 of Pentacles, his priority. 10 of Pentacles, keeping the royal family intact as an institution to hand on to the next in line. 6 of Pentacles, helping people, doing his duty as a monarch. 8 of Pentacles, doing his work. And he is really working very, very hard at the moment, possibly because of the time ticking away, the situation, back turned, busy, busy, busy. They're going to struggle to get a moment with him. As Rebecca English said, too much has been said and done for the royals to ever forgive and forget. They're not going to welcome Harry and his family into the UK. The royal family are past even that. And I don't mean into the UK, I mean into a royal residence, into that umbrella, not as working royals, but just for a flying visit to bring the kids over to meet their grandfather. That kind of flying visit. The royals don't want that, but our Queen of Wands is going to still be trying her luck with that kind of thing. I hope I'm wrong. I absolutely hope I'm wrong. But this energy has shown up now 2 days in a row. So I've got to give it attention. It's showing up for a reason. And he does. 4 of Cups in reverse. Harry does want to fix things. He's just gone about it in such a bad way that he has blown this whole thing right out the water. He just doesn't get it. And I don't think he will ever get it at this point. That is the reading. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.